And those sort of things happen with daily action plans. You start the daily action plan, you take an action first thing when you wake up in the morning towards that goal, and for the rest of the day, you start to become somewhat obsessed with finishing that list of tasks. So what I did is I just created a daily plan, a day by day plan, and I didn't worry about what I was going to do on day 4
when you're on day
until I
one.
finished with day 3.
Yeah, yeah. Gotcha. You know, it's so funny that you're saying this right now because I was literally listening to a podcast with Jack Canfield on it, and he was talking about how powerful a process driven goal is rather than a results driven goal. And I find myself doing the same thing. I'll set these big lofty goals and I'll put them up on my board and then I just like kind of fall away from them because they're just so far in the future. It's like we're future tensing it to the point where we never take any action steps and then the date comes and you realize you didn't even get anywhere. But the process driven goal is like you're saying, like just, hey, today, what is going to make me that much closer to my goal? And then the day after that, and then the day after that, and really just like seriously, such small things, like 3 things each day or 4 things each day that take just a little bit of time, and that's what ultimately gets you to that end result.
Yeah, I think the way the diet and fitness industry, the larger industry, is designed it's designed to keep you from understanding that.
Right.
It's it, it's there's a lot of confusion involved, and
Sure.
what they do is, uh, at least in my opinion, is they spend a lot of times identifying problems. So you'll hear whatever the latest craze is, don't eat carbs. Carbs are killing you, or
Right.
let's only eat paleo, or don't eat meat at all, or only do interval training, or avoid long, slow car. All of these different things, and you know, you spend time reading 200 pages of information on why insulin is going to cause your hair to fall out and warts
Belly
to pop up all over
fat
you. Yeah,
and blah
right.
blah. Yeah, yeah.
And then you get to the end and it's like, okay, do these 3 things. And you're like, okay, so I do those 3 things. I don't understand how that helps me. I don't know how to incorporate that into my daily life.
Right.
It's an abstract plan.
It's
It's not
loose, right?
right. It's not the solution. You bought the book on insulin because you're not looking to control insulin. You might not know that,
Right.
but what you're actually looking to do is lose fat, and you just want somebody to tell you how to do that. And I think we lose sight of that sometimes, because it's hard. Setting daily plans is hard. It's not.
Takes
It's not.
time.
It takes time. It
Yeah.
takes time and it takes brain power. And so, we like to have these. It's easy to say I want to lose 40 pounds. It's a whole different thing to say, okay, if I'm going to lose these, well, let's take my example. If we're going to lose these 35 pounds, I need to average a third of a pound a day. What are the 3 things I need to do today to lose that third of a pound?
Yeah. And then
Right? That's
tomorrow.
a
Yeah.
whole different monkey.
Yeah, it's different. But I mean, like I've really kind of been thinking more about mindset lately because when I have people that don't get to their goals, it always comes back to that. It always comes back to them putting their goal too far in the future, them not taking like the simple action steps each day that eventually get them there. Well, maybe you could kind of dig in and share with us kind of some of those action steps that you were taking each day, Ben. Like, where does it start out? You mentioned starting out and doing something first thing in the morning. I love that because
Yep.
I have this story where I talk about someone who stubs their toe out of bed and then they like brush their teeth and it spills on their new shirt and they have to change their shirt and then they get into traffic and like their whole day just spirals out of control and you finish and you're just in this rage versus
Yep.
somebody who stubs their toe, rubs their foot, thanks God for being alive, and then goes on with their day. You know what I mean? Like we have to think about
Yep.
that stuff. So tell us like your process-driven steps that get people results like yourself.
All right. So I don't remember where I read it, but a long time ago, I read somewhere online that whatever you do first thing in the morning, it tends to be what you spend most of your time on the rest of the day. And after reading that, I've kind of noticed that. It's, 'cause, you know, you, 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 if I check my email first time in the morning, the first thing in the morning, I find myself going back and back and back to checking email. If I check Facebook, I spend too much time on
Holy
Facebook. If
cow!
I
I got to step checking my emails and Facebook in the morning.
it's well, you start moment. It's like the toe, right? You're technologically stubbing your toe, and
You're building that
it's
momentum towards
right.
that.
It
Yeah.
again, it's that Zeigarnik effect. Your brain keeps coming back to something that feels unfinished.
Right.
And so, what I try to do first thing in the morning when I wake up is first I try to figure out what planet I'm on, and then once I realize that I'm alive and I'm on the planet Earth, um, I do personally what I do is called a morning metabolic motivator. It's just 10 minutes. It's usually not even 10 minutes. It's just a quick ladder workout, 2 exercises, say jumping jacks and push-ups, right? And
Short, brief, just to
yeah,
get you waking up.
right. Get you
Cool.
waking up.
Is
It
that
gets you
right out of
work.
bed?
I roll. My wife is usually in the shower when I wake up, so I'll knock that out. And it's like 5 jumping jacks, 5 push-ups, 4 jumping jacks, 4 push-ups, all the way
Oh
down. I
yeah.
mean,
So
it
super quick and
yeah.
simple.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, and you get woke up and you've taken a healthy action,
Right.
right? And that healthy action is going to permeate the rest of your day because you're going to start thinking, well, I've already done a very quick workout this morning. I don't want to screw that up at lunch, or and then or you're thinking about your evening workouts. So my evening workouts are obviously the 20-minute metabolic mayhem workouts. But if I'm not doing a morning metabolic motivator, I'm looking at the plan I laid out the night before. So the night before I go to bed, I say these are the things that I need to do to bring me closer to my goal today. So I review those generally after, if I'm not going to exercise at first thing in the morning or immediately after I exercise while I'm waiting to hop in the shower. And then the rest of my day is, it's work, it's kids, and then, I think what you have to realize is that for most plans to work, they typically rely on everything in the world going as planned, right?
Which never
So,
happens.
right, it never happens. So one of the strongest things I've learned about building willpower and confidence is understanding just that fact, right? So I can lay out a plan for you and I can give you a day by day plan, but I'm going to tell you at the beginning of that day what could go wrong today, right? And if I don't have time to do my 20-minute metabolic mayhem workout, I can do this 10-minute workout, or I can do these 3 4-minute workouts at various times. But I need to be taking action of some sort during the day and plan for that. It happens to all of us. We work late, kid gets sick. Mine like to fall off chairs at school and do sorts of things, like
Sure.
they shove stuff up their nose. You just wait, Tyler. Um, so. But things go haywire, and you have to have that plan B. And if you have that plan B, say you're going out to dinner with your wife and some of her friends, and they always order dessert at dinner, right? So this, and so you can go ahead and preset in your mind what your reaction to that's going to be, rather than reacting in the moment. Because when you react in the moment, your willpower is in that moment your weakest.
Yeah.
And so instead of ordering the peanut butter cheesecake, you can say, okay, I'm just going to have this bowl of fruit. I've already made the decision. I don't have to think about it. And that's
coffee and a bowl of fruit or something.
I mean, you have to think through this. At any given moment, there's only 2 decisions you can make, Tyler. Those that are going to take you closer to your goal and those that are going to take you farther away. Yeah. And if you evaluate every decision you make in that framework, and if you can more than 50% of the time make decisions that take you closer to your goal, you will make progress towards your goal.
That's such a good point, Ben, is that it's not 100%. Like I see this happen all the time where people are like, oh, I've got to be 100%. And they're 80% on their game. And then one day they're 60 and they just give up and they make it 0, right? Like they wake up and they do something, they have like a bad lunch. And so they just figure, I might as well just cash out the whole day and just be lazy and eat and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, take your toe stubbing example, right?
Right.
So what if you think about what separates the most successful in the people, what separates the most successful people in the world from everybody else? It's not that they follow the plan 100% of the time. It's how they react to adversity. It's how they react when the plan goes wrong. You can have a bad day. I mean, during the 90 days, I had a bad week. I went to Jamaica to beaches, all inclusive resort, and by God, I'm paying for an all inclusive resort. I'm going to include everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I had a bad week. I planned to have a bad week.
Yeah. You
So I
knew in
planned my
advance. You probably
right.
were
I knew
mentally
it.
preparing for
Right.
it,
I was
right?
mentally prepared for it, but I had a week where I ate everything they put in front of me and had all the rum and coke they could deliver, and still managed to lose 35 pounds in 90 days because I knew at the end of that week I was back on my plan. It's how I reacted to that
Yeah.
bad week. Whereas I think a lot of people will say, well, I had a bad week. Screw it. I'm going to have a bad month.
Right. Screw it. I'm going to have a bad year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it becomes a series of bad decisions,
Yeah.
right? That's what it just becomes, a series of bad decisions. And at any given point, if you can stop the bad decision chain, just stop the bad decision chain and make that U-turn, then you can get right back on the track and you'll start making progress towards your goals again. But you have to consciously get off the bad decision train.
And that only takes one decision, right?
Right. Yep.
That doesn't have to change. Like it doesn't have to be to Monday or January 1st or something fancy like that. It's right now.